pleasure to be here this evening, and I'm not going to talk a long time this evening. I believe that between Lamont and Matt, they pretty well covered everything that you need to know tonight. I just wanted to give you an idea as to how this all came together. We started working on the REAP proposal last year. I started working with Senator Wenger from Lancaster County, and at the time he'd been appropriations chairman in the state senate. We were hoping that we could put our resources together and actually come up with the amount of money for the tax credits in last year. Well, we started after last year's budget. That's part of the problem. And it didn't quite work out that we could put things together. And then I was serving also on the House Ag Committee. And I had served 10 years previous on the House Environmental Resources Committee. So I had some environmental resources experience. I knew some of the pressures that would be faced on the farming community in the upcoming years with the Chesapeake Bay tributary strategy. And as we've heard this evening, and all of you know, the farmers under increasing pressure to produce more with less. And we needed to try to provide resources that would be available that would allow them, and also allow for the private sector dollars to be invested into farms. And that could be across the board. That could be environmental groups, that could be individuals, that could be businesses, and that could also be farmers selling their credits to other individuals to help them as well with their burden. And so, working with Senator Wenger last year, we ended up having a hearing in the House Ag Committee, and we had a lot of good input. We had a bill last year that was put together at the end of session, and we had a hearing in the Ag Committee. We got a lot of input. We saw all the mistakes that we made in drafting the legislation to begin with. So we went back and instead of just reintroducing it, the House Ag Committee sat down with our friends and with others, the Department of Revenue folks, with our Finance Committee people that understood the tax credit program, with the Chesapeake Bay Foundation people that they helped us look at it as well. And then one of our House Ag members is here this evening that worked on this legislation, Jay House. Stand up, Jay. You need to take some credit here for helping write this legislation. So Jay was very instrumental in helping to write the legislation. And also, I thought if you had any technical questions, I'd just make him answer them. That's why I brought him along. But it's a pleasure to be here tonight and try to share with you what this legislation does. And as I indicated, it takes tax credits, and what it does is reduce the amount of spending that Pennsylvania has currently. We're not asking for a new tax increase. We're not asking for new taxes. We're just asking for a little bit less money to be spent on other programs in the Pennsylvania budget, and let's invest that money in environmentally proven practices that not only help the farming community, that help the environment and help agriculture. And that's what it's all about. And with the hearings that have been held in Lancaster County and around Pennsylvania, this group here has been wonderful as far as educating Pennsylvania. This week on the floor of the House, I just wanted to bring this with me tonight to show you that we were celebrating Arbor Day and Earth Day in Harrisburg this week. And I tell you what, this was from Octororo Nursery, and it also was provided by the Pennsylvania Landscape and Nursery Association in honor of Arbor Day. But, you know, read, these guys, they do everything environmentally conscious, they recycle, they do everything. They had postcards last year that they handed out up here at Ag Progress Days. And this is part of the postcards that they handed out last year at Ag Progress Days. They cut the postcards up, it says REAP, and the REAP is on the tree here. So every House member got one of these things, and they were supporting the REAP legislation this week in Harrisburg. Every House member got one of these, and I heard so many people comment about the REAP legislation. It was an idea that was done by our friends in the Chesapeake Bay group, and I applaud your initiative and your insight. But they recycled old cards to put that on there, so I applaud your efforts. But it's a pleasure to be here tonight, and I don't want to go on and on. We'll be available. I'll be here to answer any questions you may have afterwards. And at this time, I'd just like to thank you for inviting me here. I'm not too far away. I'm just down in Blair County. I still live on my family farm in Blair County. We have about 100 some acres, and And as I said, I grew up on a farm, and I love and appreciate the farming community, and have a love of the land. And I think between the farming community and the environmental community, it's nice to see a bill like this where we both can work together for the environment and for agricultural interests. And so it's a pleasure to be here tonight and share with you. And I'll be heading back to Morse's Cove here whenever I leave here tonight. But it's a beautiful farming area, and we have a lot of streams, and hopefully this legislation will impact and help many of the farmers in my district as well. Thank you very much.